Good evening and welcome. My name is Jack Hott, Chair of the BGSU Board of Directors. Actually, today is the last day of my 2-year term as the Board of Director, as the Chair of the Board of Directors. So I'm going to get off of script just a little bit to tell you that in the more than 10 years that I've been involved with alumni activities here at Bowling Green, through College of Business and then also the Alumni Board, I've seen a lot of ups and downs in university management and in relationship with alumni. And I got to tell you right now, this is about the best situation I've seen. I feel very fortunate to have been the chair this 2 years under the leadership of Rodney Rogers. The openness, the collaboration, the joint focus on our university has been outstanding, and like I said, I feel very fortunate to be in this role with President Rogers. Thank you, Roger. Good. Now I'll get back on script. On behalf of Bowling Green State University and our Alumni Board, I am excited to welcome you to the 2021 Academy of Distinguished Alumni Celebration. On this very special homecoming weekend, it's my honor to join with you this evening in celebrating the very best of Bowling Green. The university has a rich tradition of excellence that is strengthened by the far-reaching success of its alumni, especially those who we recognize tonight. Our impressive group of awardees has shown themselves worthy of BGSU's highest honor through the significance and impact of their contributions that they have made in their fields of endeavor and their communities. These outstanding alumni are truly affecting public good. And now it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage Pam Conlon, Vice President, University Advancement, and she is the President and CEO of the BGSU Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack, and welcome to everyone this evening. We are so pleased to be able to celebrate this incredible event and these 3 outstanding distinguished alumni in person with you this year. It's been a couple of years, and we are really looking forward to having you with us. Today is very special because this has been a long wait for us to be able to do so much more in engaging all of us with you in everything that the university stands for. As you meet these distinguished individuals, I know that you will agree that they are worthy of this incredible acknowledgement and really truly are great representatives of BGSU. In 1942, our nation had been through the Great Depression, and the world was at war. It was a time of great sacrifice and uncertainty. At that time, the director of the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra asked Aaron Copland to compose a fanfare to honor all of those who were making a sacrifice to find a way forward for our nation and our world. Mr. Copland composed this piece in honor of our nation. Given all that we have been through with COVID-19, we thought that it was particularly appropriate to play this piece for you this evening. This particular performance was done by students and faculty in the College of Musical Arts. So I hope you enjoyed the beautiful music and the poignancy of what it represents. As we begin our program, I would like to acknowledge several special guests who are with us this evening. And as I call your name, please stand, and I ask the audience to hold your applause until I give you the signal. The BGSU Board of Trustees, chaired by David O'Brien, has an important role in shaping the future of BGSU. I invite Vice Chair Marilyn Isley and current trustees Linda Forte and Jeff Radbill, along with former chairs Leon Bibb, David Levy, and Bob Sebo, to please stand and receive our appreciation. The BGSU Foundation Board of Directors works to increase and enhance philanthropic support for the university. I invite all current and former members of the Foundation Board to please stand so that you can be recognized. The BGSU Alumni Board of Directors works to build and expand meaningful engagement opportunities with all alumni, over 190,000 of them throughout the world. I ask Chair Jack Hott and all current and former members of the Alumni Association Board to please stand. I am also privileged to work with an amazing group of colleagues who lead the university. They are members of the President's Cabinet and deans of our colleges. So at this time, I ask all cabinet members and deans to please stand. And of course, I want to acknowledge our alumnus and BGSU president, the 12th president of BGSU, Rodney K. Rogers, and his wife, University Advocate Sandy Earle. Many of you may have noticed the beautiful glass pieces that are on the stage that our recipients will receive this evening. These pieces were crafted by one of our own faculty members, Joel Odoricio. He's a renowned glass artist whose work is housed in public and private collections around the world. So these are really, truly remarkable, and I hope you'll have a chance to see them up close when you visit with the awardees after the dinner. So finally, to inform you of our COVID-19 protocols. We really appreciate that you are all wearing masks. We ask that you do so when you are not eating and drinking. Those are our requirements indoors for our facilities. We've also taken measures, as you can see, to socially distance our guests, except for those who are seated with family and friends, and have indicated that additional distancing is not necessary for their party. Now I invite you to enjoy your dinner and some musical selections. And I'd like to introduce some of our students from the College of Musical Arts. This evening's string quartet includes Janelle Preheim, Tyler Browning, Anthony Marquise, and Leslie Rudin. Enjoy your dinner.
Good evening. I'm Karen Rohr, Assistant Vice President for Alumni Engagement and Annual Giving, and also the Executive Director of the Bowling Green State University Alumni Association Board. I am also a proud BGSU alumna. I never dreamed that I would have the opportunity to one day return to my alma mater and have an incredible chance to work on behalf of our students and alumni in support of this great university. Before I share the rest of the program, I wanted to say a special thank you to our catering team tonight, who has just done an outstanding job. They are stretched thin, but tonight they have just gone above and beyond. We have so many homecoming activities going on this weekend, and we express our sincere appreciation for all that they have done this evening and all that they're doing the rest of the weekend. Tonight, we are so delighted to be able to celebrate and honor our distinguished Alumni Academy inductees in person. These past 18 months have been challenging. Yet through this time, Bowling Green State University alumni, faculty, students, and staff, and friends have demonstrated resilience, care, and compassion for our communities and each other, and an unwavering sense of hope as we move forward. All qualities embodied in our 3 alumni that we honor this evening. Our 2021 honorees join a very special circle of Bowling Green State University graduates, recognized for their leadership, their vision, service, and accomplishments. Many of our previous honorees of the Academy of Distinguished Alumni are in attendance tonight. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge them and ask that you please hold your applause until they have all been recognized. Previous honorees, please stand as I call your name and accept our congratulations once again. Alicia Fernandez-Mott, Linda Forte, C. Ray Mullins, Ed Ritter, Bob Sebo, Paul Stifler, Linda Davis Waters, and Ralph Wolf. BGSU is very appreciative of the relationships each of you have with this university. In addition to your commitments to work, family, and community, you have chosen to make Bowling Green State University a priority in your lives. We are inspired by your dedication and your loyalty. Your accomplishments and those of fellow Bowling Green State University graduates are shining examples to our current and future students. There are no limits to what you can do with a Bowling Green State University degree. Now, before we officially induct our 2021 honorees, I am very pleased to welcome to the stage Bowling Green State University alumnus and president, Dr. Rodney K. Rogers.
Thank you, Karen, and good evening. You know, it is certainly an exciting evening here at Bowling Green State University as we are hosting an in-person event to celebrate and honor the 2021 inductees into the Academy of Distinguished Alumni. And I certainly want to echo the previous comments and recognize the Board of Trustees that are with us tonight, the Foundation, alumni boards, and certainly the leadership of Bowling Green State University. Certainly want to also reaffirm how thrilled we are to welcome all of our alumni and friends back to the 2021 homecoming, the 99th homecoming at Bowling Green State University. So you know, next year is going to be what? The 100th. So, we're going to make a big homecoming next year, too. The 100th homecoming at Bowling Green State University. Well, as you know, certainly COVID has been challenging. This global pandemic has for all of us, has certainly been a challenging time. And at times, it might have been tough to even imagine that we would be back together in an in-person event such as tonight. However, I am absolutely struck how BGSU has found a way forward. And seeing everyone here in attendance tonight is certainly a testament to that focus, that grit, that ability to move forward. Bowling Green State University, BGSU, Bowling Green. What we've learned is it is much more than a physical place. While we're here in this physical place, what really makes this place special is the connection, it is the community, it's the people coming together. And I think tonight as we are together, I am reminded again, that is the energy, that is the power, that is who we are. And as you know, we have over 191,000 living alumni. And one of the privileges I have as president is meeting many of those individuals, and they tell their stories, and their accomplishments are absolutely amazing. And time again, our graduates speak about the impact that Bowling Green State University has had on their life. But above all, I am constantly reminded how our alumni are just not successful in their careers, but they are making a difference in their communities, in their families, in the nation, in the world, making a difference. They create public good. Tonight, we are going to recognize 3 such extraordinary alumni: Leon Bibb, Dr. Susan Finn, and Jan Heppy. The videos you will see tonight about each inductee showcase their impact in their chosen professions and their community involvement. Leon Bibb is a 1966 broadcast journalism graduate and an acclaimed Emmy-winning journalist who was a trailblazer as the first Black primetime news anchor in Ohio and one of the first in the nation. 2021 marks his 50th year in television, and he is still going strong. He is also a former chair of our Board of Trustees. Dr. Susan Finn is also a 1966 alumna who is a national leader in food, nutrition, and health. President George W. Bush has appointed her to various national councils. She is widely published in various fields and has advised many professional societies, educational institutions, and industries. Jan Heppy is a 1974 alumna of Bowling Green State University. Her 30-plus year career is defined by many senior leadership roles in national and international retail organizations. In her 15 years of service with Burberry, a British international luxury brand, Heppy led the position of Senior Vice President of Retail, Chief Operating Officer, and President of the Americas region, reaching from Canada through Latin America. You know, these 3 alumni have driven the economic, educational, cultural, and social vitality of our communities, not only in their communities, but throughout the world. They are absolutely 3 amazing examples of how BGSU alumni achieve excellence and create public good. We are here this evening to honor them. And while their experiences range from media, health, to business, they share something special in common. They are graduates of Bowling Green State University. You know, at these kind of events, I'm struck by the quote that's from Bowling Green's 4th president. Everybody know who the 4th president was? Come on, try me. Ralph McDonald. Who said that? That's really good. Free face mask. Okay, so Ralph McDonald, the 4th president, and it's inscribed in the stonework of actually the Bowen Thompson Student Union, the room we're in. But it reads, "We are linked to this institution by invisible bonds that do not wither or dissolve. So we are linked to this institution by invisible bonds that do not wither or dissolve. And I'm struck by that because even in the middle of a global pandemic, we continue to be linked together. This institution brings us together. And I look out and see the individuals in this room tonight, and you realize the success and the dedication and the commitment to this institution. It's humbling, the difference that each of you are making. But we have three special individuals that we are certainly recognizing tonight. They continue to be linked to this institution. You know, at graduation, the other piece of advice we often give our graduates, this idea of being linked to the institution is we make the point that their success is our success. But our success as an institution is also their success. This idea of being linked and how together we are creating public good, we are linked together to drive success. And certainly this evening, we are celebrating the success of three amazing alumni. And their accomplishments are more than personal and professional. This year's inductees truly have made this institution better. Their success is our success. And so I would like to propose a toast, but I realized I didn't bring a glass up here. So I'm going to propose an invisible toast. You all have glasses. And so I propose a toast. And so I ask everyone to raise a glass. Leon, Susan, Jan. We, your alma mater, is so proud of all that you have accomplished. Welcome to the Academy of Distinguished Alumni. Congratulations, and I Ziggy Zumba. Yeah.
Thank you, President Rogers. It is now my distinct honor to introduce our 2021 inductees to the Academy of Distinguished Alumni. Leon Bibb. As the president mentioned, he's an acclaimed Emmy-winning journalist at WKYC in Cleveland, where he fills the airways with his iconic voice and storytelling as a senior commentator. This year marks his 50th straight year in television, which that in and of itself deserves a round of applause. Leon broke ground as the first Black primetime news anchor in Ohio and one of the very first in the country. He is a true trailblazer who opened the door for many of Ohio's Black television journalists and has set an example by adapting to the ever-changing field of broadcast journalism. His work has been honored many times over with esteemed state, national recognitions, including 7 Emmys, induction into the Associated Press Ohio Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Prior to embarking on his storied career in journalism, Leon proudly served in the Vietnam War and was awarded the Bronze Star of Metal for meritorious achievement.
Look up class in the dictionary for the picture of Leon Bethersfield.
This guy's a 1 in a million guy, decorated combat veteran,
an exquisite journalist, 6 Emmy Awards, Distinguished Journalist Award.
brilliant poet. This is a man of intelligence, compassion, and style. Leon Bibb has style. He came in at a time when you didn't have a whole lot of Americans who were Black anchoring the news. And this is a guy that came out of early journalism, never waiting for the opportunity. He created opportunities.
He got a start in reports at the Bowling Green State University newspaper, television station.
He was the first African-American primetime news anchor in the state of Ohio. He broke barriers when he became the primetime news anchor for WKYC Channel 3 in Cleveland. He became trusted and a beloved fixture for so many people in Northeast Ohio.
After a lot of people, spend maybe working 2 shifts back then at the Ford plant or the Chevy plant, that was a guy you could come home to and listen to and understand what was going on.
Local people, local news, the stories that matter.
What makes him pretty unique in my belief is he finds stories where most people maybe don't find stories. Anyone can tell you what the latest thing happened today, but he always knows the right thing to say.
He blended news and commentary, not in the wrong way, but in the right way. He found a rhythm to the message.
He has certainly interviewed the who's who of our time, including Neil Armstrong, James Earl Ray.
The White House actually called Leon to come to Washington, D.C. to interview President Obama in the White House.
He was on the ground during the Gulf War.
Al Roker said Leon is still to this day a living legend, and that speaks to the greatness of Leon. He had many opportunities to go to NBC, Nashville, and New York City. Leon felt as though his higher calling was to stay in Cleveland, raise his family. He's that rare person that not only had the career, but he was there for the birthdays, he was there for the anniversary.
I think that just speaks to how far he goes, not only for making sure his family commitments are met, but also finding ways to balance the rest when others may feel that's kind of impossible or really hard to do.
Leon's been on the airwaves for over 50 years, but most people don't know that for a portion of that time, he served his country and other people weren't doing so.
He is a decorated veteran from the Vietnam War, earned a Bronze Star for his service.
If Walter Cronkite is the gold standard, then Leon's the platinum.
I would say Leon is quite accomplished. His professional accomplishments are numerous, but I think of all of those accomplishments, they all pale in comparison to how he tells stories. He connects with the television viewer, and he's someone you look to and trust because of how seriously he takes his profession.
He is the best of what a person can be, the best of what an American can be, the best of what a broadcast journalist can be.
I'm Leon Bibb, hoping this evening unfolds as a comfortable one for you. Good luck, be well, good evening, and peace.
Leon, please join President Rogers on stage to receive your award.
Thank you so much. President Rogers and Vice President Rohr and all of you, it is indeed a pleasure for me to be with you this evening. I am thankful to all of you and to share the program with Susan Finn and Jan Heppy. It touches my heart just to be with you and your families as well. To be with members of the Board of Trustees, Bob Sebo, with whom I worked when I was on the board from 1996 to 2005 or so. It is good to see you as well, and my fraternity brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha who are here as well, many of them after my years, but we are all brothers of the same fraternity. I am thankful to Bowling Green State University, President Rogers, the staff, the faculty of the university, the foundation, Board of Trustees, and all others associated with this wonderful place. You or your predecessors have helped me across that huge threshold from freshman student to this very night. As well, my family thanks you. My wife, Marguerite, is here, as our daughters Jennifer Clausen and her husband Bill Clausen. Also here, our daughter Allison Bibb Carson, her husband Ron Carson, and their two children, Rory and Jackson. Our two other grandchildren, Will and Alexa, the children of Bill and Jennifer, are about their studies at the University of Indiana and Boston Conservatory at the Berklee School of Music, respectively. I'm also thankful to my parents who have passed on. I am thankful to my parents because they were the first to usher me to Bowling Green. In my senior year of high school, I requested college applications from Bowling Green, Ohio University, and Central State University. Bowling Green answered first and announced that BGSU would admit me. I suggested to my father in my senior year of high school that maybe we ought to drive over to Bowling Green and get a look at it to see if I really might like it. Dad responded quickly, "Bowling Green's got buildings and they got books. What else are you looking for?" That settled that. Sight unseen, I was coming to Bowling Green. Now, that was a long time ago, but I remember the day we left Cleveland and I moved into my freshman year. Dad's Buick was packed, not so much with my stuff, but with people. Dad and Mother were in the front seat. So was I, of course. In the back seat was my sister Shirley, who would later come to Bowling Green and graduate from here. And also coming along for the ride were Mr. and Mrs. Stone, friends of my parents. Mother wasn't too keen about another couple coming along, as Mother and Dad were bringing their firstborn to college, but Dad insisted that they were good family friends who had no children of their own, and they wanted to see a young man off to college. So we all piled in, all 6 of us, on our way to Leon's freshman year at Bowling Green State University. But what about all the stuff you bring to college? Well, in those days, in the early 1960s, there wasn't much stuff to bring. 2 suitcases of clothes, a winter coat thrown in the trunk with the suitcases, a shopping bag of my toiletries, and 4 sheets, a pillow, and a bedspread. Everything fit neatly in the trunk of the Buick in the days before television for students, microwave ovens for students, computers, printers, or whatever else students bring to Bowling Green these days. When we arrived, we moved into Rogers Quadrangle on the eastern end of campus, room 369. The 6 of us, each of us carried something, and I was in really like 2 minutes or so. All our stuff was in. A few hours later, Dad said he had to go back to work the next day in Cleveland, so they were only going to spend a couple of hours in Bowling Green and get back to Cleveland. I was glad to see them go because I wanted to start my college career. So I was in college at a pep rally in the next few days in this very grand ballroom before we expanded the building. During my time on the trustee board, we expanded the union and made it what it is today. But the basic part, this room right here, was always here, at least when I came in 1962. In this very room, I met Marguerite Bryant of Toledo. We began to see each other every day during the school year of our freshman year, and we decided on marriage after graduation. We are still holding hands right now. In fact, I don't know if this is serendipitous or not, but Marguerite is sitting at basically the spot I met her in this room for the Freddie Falcon Review, where they were telling kids all about Freddie Falcon. Well, I'm here also because of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, which took me in as a pledge and not only provided a social outlet for me on the campus, but Alpha Phi Alpha was my inspiration. I'm still active in the Cleveland alumni chapter of our fraternity, and as I said, some of my fraternity brothers are here right now, and they are part of my life, and I hope to be I am part of their lives. Our brotherhood is strong and true. I'm thankful also to Mr. Sidney Stone, the late Sidney Stone, who was the speech and broadcasting professor who managed WBGU-FM radio station, coming right out of what we call South Hall in those days. Mr. Stone asked me in my sophomore year if I'd like to be a newscaster on the radio every night, 5 nights a week on the radio station. So I jumped at the idea of being a broadcast and a journalism major. Well, on my first night before the radio station microphone, it was the first time I'd ever addressed the microphone. I gave it my all with the newscast about what was going on in the world. And it sounded something like this. Good evening, everybody. This is Leon Bibb. It's 82 degrees in downtown Bowling Green. I'm Leon Bibb, and this is the news. The United States and the Soviet Union have entered talks on a variety of international issues. Certainly we'll be hearing more from the president as the days goes on about what the United States and the Soviet Union are talking about. That's the news. I'm Leon Bibb. It was a very upbeat newscast. I tried to sound like the guys on CKLW radio up in Windsor, Ontario, or up on the rock stations up in Toledo. The next day, Mr. Stone, on his pipe, smoking his pipe, Leon, as he clenched his pipe between his teeth, WBGU-FM is not a rock and roll station. We play symphony music. And you have to remember that your newscast is sandwiched between Beethoven and Bach with a bit of Vivaldi tossed in. So tone down your delivery. The next day it was, good evening, everybody. I'm Leon Bibb. This is WBGU. It's 82 degrees in downtown Bowling Green. That's been our news. Now back to more symphony music. Here now is Beethoven. I was 19 years of age. I was off and running in my broadcast career, which I said is still going. I'm grateful to have been a graduate student here and worked at the WBGU television station before going on to WTOL in Toledo and WCMH in Columbus, and then 2 television stations in Cleveland. I'm thankful to have been a member of the Board of Trustees, where I learned a great deal about how this university runs and what it's all about, and to propel my love even more to the university. And I'm thankful for my induction into the Academy of Distinguished Alumni. I am truly honored. And as well, I am thankful to my father, who told me Bowling Green would be a good choice, sight unseen. They got buildings, they got books. What else are you looking for? Asked Dad. Well, everything I was looking for and needed at the time for the long run of my life, I found all of those roots beginning at Bowling Green State University. Thank you so much. I love you all, and I appreciate you.
Congratulations again, Leon, on your induction into the Academy of Distinguished Alumni. Our next recipient, Dr. Susan Finn, is a recognized leader, author, respected international communicator in food, nutrition, and health. For 30 years, Susan headed nutrition services for Ross Products Division of Abbott Laboratories, where she advocated for making nutrition screening and support integral elements of healthcare. She was the chief architect behind multifaceted campaigns to advance nutrition support, particularly for women, the elderly, and those with diseases placing them at nutritional risk. President George W. Bush appointed her to the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports, and in 2014, she was named to the National Commission on Hunger. Susan has served as president of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the largest such organization in the world, with more than 100,000 members. She remains actively involved in shaping the organization's future direction.
Well, let me start out by saying that Susan Finn is an extremely passionate and visionary leader.
She's a warm and enthusiastic person.
Susan is a woman of great talent and impact.
Almost sounds like a person you'd always want to know, isn't it? We went to Berea High School together, but when I encountered her again at Bowling Green, here she was, a very diligent, hardworking, and serious student. And I think that's one of the more interesting aspects of her life, was that she lit up in terms of her intellectual interests in college, and then went on to become really a nationwide star in a field.
They say if you find your passion, if you find your purpose, you'll never feel like you worked a day in your life. And she truly embodies that. She found that passion at Bowling Green State University. She found it there and parlayed that to incredibly successful career, not just for herself, but for the profession.
She was a trailblazer. And when she first went to Ross Laboratories, it was very unusual. In fact, I don't think there were any other registered dietitians who were in corporations because she was the only person in her department. No one worked with her, and so she was sort of isolated, as it were. But she made sure that she developed a relationship with all of the key people, and in that way get accomplished what she would like to have done.
She has no problem being as an extrovert. And I think that probably helps her in terms of her communications with professionals in her professional setting.
Early on in her volunteer service, it was around the time she was president of the Academy, and she's had a lot of volunteer roles. But at this particular time, she was focused on a project called the Nutrition Screening Initiative. NSI, or Nutrition Screening Initiative, is a national project that was developed to improve the nutrition care of the elderly. Susan was instrumental in getting this project off the ground and adopted by healthcare organizations nationwide, and it is still the standard today, thanks to Susan.
So she's kind of like a visionary, really, and could look ahead and see what would be useful and helpful.
It's never about Susan, it's about her passion for the profession and her true, deep, abiding love and appreciation for her colleagues and her ability to see so many possibilities and try to bring them along.
Susan is a thought leader and then has the ability to strategically identify individuals who can bring results, who can have an impact. And I believe that was one of the important contributions that she has made in her life.
Susan is somebody who really could completely rest on her laurels, but she chooses to continue to support and be engaged in an incredibly productive way.
She worked her way, became a member of the House of Delegates, and then was a leader in the House, became the president of the association, followed by being the president of the foundation.
All of the work she did, all of the effort she put forward, all of the relationships she's established have paid off. And it's been a pleasure knowing her in so many phases of her life.
She is someone who has dedicated her personal life and her professional life to making the world a better place. And as a result of that, she has spent her entire career supporting and elevating the profession of nutrition and dietetics.
Do what you love. Follow your dream. Don't worry about whether it's the hot field at the time, because when you do something you love, you will find opportunities.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rogers, and thank you to those who nominated me for this award. It is indeed an honor to be inducted into the university's Academy of Distinguished Alumni. You know, on an occasion like this, you go back to life on campus. And I have memories, wonderful memories about being here, and here I'm going to name just a couple of them. I learned what it means to be really tall because I stood next to Nate Thurman in the cafeteria at West Hall. He was sitting on the chair rail behind me. It hit me in the head. And of course, everybody knew how fabulous Nate the Great would be. I remember walking in to my first art class. I was taking art appreciation. I'm very excited about it, and I walked in, and I was so pleased to see the instructor. In comes a dazzling looking guy, dressed to the nines in a beautifully tailored suit. Absolutely a gorgeous hunk, we would have called him in those days. And of course, I knew immediately who that was because I'm a Clevelander and I love the Cleveland Browns. And I knew that was Bernie Casey. And of course, any of us that kind of grew up in the 60s remember what campus life was like in the 60s. I remember sitting outside the Nest, listening a little bit to the hootenanny music going on, and then beginning to hear the anti-war music coming forth from the likes of Joan Baez and Bob Dylan. Turbulent times, no doubt. These are kind of some of my top memories of Bowling Green on Bowling Green campus. And then I thought, you know, there is so much more that I have gotten from Bowling Green. It laid the foundation for who I was and who I would become. You know, you come to college, you're a freshman, you hope to become more knowledgeable, a little bit more intelligent, and hope you find a little bit of a way to your path for what you wanted to do in your life. Your parents certainly hope that you do that. Now, I was a home ec major, and I was going to teach home economics, and some of you may say, oh my gosh, are you kidding? Is that still around? Well, I will tell you, Martha Stewart has made a doggone good living off of home economics. And look at cable television. Food networks, HGTV, fashion networks, you name it, it's home economics by slightly different names. It is very relevant today, and it is relevant today because it provided me that base and foundation for my career in dietetics and nutrition. You see, the faculty taught me the importance of really being serious, of understanding a subject, being curious about it, and then be able to apply what you just learned. I have an example. I remember Miss Laura Heston. Maybe some of you do too. She died not too long ago, well over 100 years old. We, of course, thought she was that at the time. She looked old. She had a white uniform on with white nylons and white shoes and a hairnet, and you can picture her. But she was so good. She taught all of the foods classes. Today, those would be called cultural art, culinary arts, cultural foods, or food science. She would have us make a product, and then she'd take that product and she'll say, how does it taste? How does it smell? How does it feel in your mouth? What is the texture? Is it dry? Is it too moist? What would you add to that product to make that product better? What would you do to improve the shelf life of that product? This kind of information, you know, is useful to chefs. It's useful to home cooks. It's useful to food service, and it's critical to the food industry. Bowling Green taught me to be serious about a subject, to become knowledgeable in that subject, to think about it, and apply what you learned. Of course, as everybody knows, you can't just know something or have a viewpoint. You have to be able to talk about it and communicate it to people. So my advisors encouraged all of us in teaching to take a communication course. And I did. And I really liked it, and I ended up with a minor. And I think, Leon, it wasn't called communication. I think it was called speech or something else. It was so valuable. In fact, the lessons learned have been invaluable to me. As head of nutrition services for Abbott Laboratories, I have made countless presentations to medical and academic centers and businesses all around the world. And I believe communications skills were absolutely essential as I led the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And I can tell you I am forever grateful for the faculty and having their guidance about that area. Bowling Green prepared me to enter my field, not by just the knowledge and the skills, by really inspiring me by the example they set. I saw firsthand the commitment of the faculty to their discipline. I saw smart, strong women do just amazing things. And I saw their true passion for teaching others. I have carried that same passion throughout my career in business. And I have carried that passion to show others the very essential role that nutritionists and registered dietitians play in improving the health of the world. Thank you, Bowling Green, for inspiring me. Thank you, Bowling Green, for the knowledge and the skills and the honor that you have bestowed upon me this evening. I would like to say a couple of special thank yous. First of all, to my friends here on Table 1, who graciously gave up a very nice Friday night to be here, and I want to know, family and friends, how much I appreciate you coming. I want to give a shout out particularly to my sister Flory, who has been at my side forever because we're sisters, and she went 4 years to Bowling Green as well. She was a phys ed major, so don't mess with her, she's tough. And I want to say a special thank you to the guy that I have spent nearly 40 years with. This is my husband. In our marriage, he has encouraged me and supported me in everything I wanted to do with my career. We have traveled the world together. We have had wonderful experiences, and more often when we traveled, who were we meeting up with? Registered dietitians and nutritionists. And no doubt, I am sure he got a little weary of this, but you would never have known it by his kind manner and his style. And I am a lucky girl and forever grateful, sweetheart. Thank you. I am a lucky girl to have been at Bowling Green, and I am forever a Falcon. Thank you.
Congratulations, Susan, on your induction into the Academy of Distinguished Alumni. It is an honor to have you as a distinguished member of the Falcon family. Our final honoree this evening is Jan Heppy, who retired from Burberry's President of the Americas region, reaching from Canada through Latin America. She played a pivotal role in shaping and growing Burberry's retail operations across the region. Jan's 30-year career in various leadership roles for retail organizations was marked by operational expertise, market growth, and strategically aligning the global positioning of brands. She was the first woman and youngest female division vice president, general manager in the Gimbels organization. During her 15-year career with Burberry's, she also served as senior vice president of retail and chief operating officer. Jan now shares her time, passion, and talents with several organizations, including the Sandy Rollman Ovarian Cancer Foundation, where she serves as a board member. She is also an active member of the Bowling Green State University's Foundation Board and serves on the Advisory Council for the Fashion Merchandising and Product Development Program at BGSU.
Jan knows what she wants to do and she does it.
I'm telling you, this is a real Renaissance woman.
She knows who she is, she knows what she believes, and I have appreciated that. As a woman in a leadership role, I value seeing strong women in the industry, but also in life too. It reminds me that we claim this space too.
We were building a team in the Americas for Burberry Americas, and Jan became our Senior Vice President, Director of Stores.
Burberry is known for high-end, quality, exceptional craftsmanship. In some ways, I think that's Jan. She cares about the craftsmanship of things. She cares about the quality.
I think she's realistic, but she also reaches for the stars. Like I always know, if it's okay with Jan, I'm doing okay.
A lot of her outstanding retail experience pre-Burberry is from the Philadelphia area. So she was a fierce competitor in our business, which was a retail business. It was really about winning, building a team. What's the strategy? And I had an immediate connection to her. You know, how she conducts herself, how she feels about people, what's important to her. I was very lucky to have her be the next president of Burberry Americas. Once it was announced, I really wanted Jan to know that it was going to be her show.
The quality in her that seems to be a constant is a commitment to quality. I mean, I think that in some ways then her career in Burberry makes sense because it's one of those companies that, you know, exudes quality. And I think then knowing where she ended up as president of the Americas with Burberry, that may not have been a clear path, but one that she was able to carve and make for herself and then do really amazing things with it.
She's an unbelievable business leader, but she has all these other interests.
She, in fact, was our first executive in residence for apparel merchandising and product development program. And so she was here for a semester working with our students. Our students look at her and all of the success that she's had professionally, and they can dream that could be them someday. She can help them see the possibilities in themselves, and that comes because she is just so authentic and so genuine in her enthusiasm. And I think it's because she's real.
Just the fact that she can give so much of herself to help a cause, you know, says so much about her as a person. Ovarian cancer is a never-ending disease, and while she got involved initially, you know, to help other women so that other women wouldn't have to go through the same thing that she did, she is now dealing with a recurrence, which is often the reality of an ovarian cancer diagnosis. And to help other women that she doesn't even know, there's no one like her. She's just an amazing human being in every way, professionally, personally. She's just been such a mentor to me that I feel so lucky to have her in my life.
She is one of my favorite people.
I'm so happy for her that she's recognized for the individual that she is, and the world is lucky to have her.
Jan, please join President Rogers to receive your award. That is emotional and painful at the same time. I don't quite know where to start. I first, by thanking certainly President Rogers and Pam and all of you for being here this evening. Very emotional for me, so I apologize. It's been quite a journey, and it is a huge honor for me to be here at the same time with Leon and Susan. I'm humbled by their accomplishments. They're tremendous, and to be in the same class as you are, it's really amazing to me. I would say my experience with Bowling Green was sort of unique in how I got here. I started with the intention of being a voice major in music, and then, fortunately, early, I determined that I did not want to teach, perform, or compose. So that's a problem. Now what am I going to do? And I did have a passion for fashion, always. Made my own clothes and studied fashion. And unfortunately, at the time, there was no fashion merchandising degree. And I was blessed to have as my advisor, Dr. Ragusa, who at the time, and
as you might have heard, I can be a little stubborn, a little pushy, and I couldn't settle for the fact that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I didn't want to transfer to another university. I wanted to stay here because I loved it. And Dr. Ragusa, ahead of his time, went outside the box to help me figure out how to navigate this university to give me what I wanted for my education. And it allowed cobbling together pieces of education from different colleges that didn't cross-pollinate so well before. I did also, along with Susan, graduate with a home economics degree because there was no other degree that fell within the School of Arts and Sciences. So the barriers were broken, and I think probably in hindsight, that mobility and that initiative on the part of Dr. Ragusa in empowering me to make that decision early has allowed me to continue that through my career and through my personal relationships. Is not taking no for an answer and figuring out a way to get things done that you believe are right. And doing what's right has been sort of pervasive in my life. You know, it's the way I was raised by my family, and it is always what is in the back of my mind when making decisions, whether it's on a foundation board or the Ovarian Cancer Foundation or with the students with whom I work in FMPD. And I think that is why we're all here. I embarrassingly have to say, you know, I graduated and then became president of the advisory board for Bowling Green and didn't return for over 30 years. And that's an embarrassment to me. And I was brought back by Dean Braun to participate in the Women in Leadership Conference and be a presenter. And coming back to the university, I did not feel as if I'd been away for 30 years. I felt like I'd come home again. And it was coming home again. And from there, it spurred being a part of the fashion merchandising group, to become a part of the foundation board, and participate in new and different ways that I didn't even believe were possible within my skill set and my abilities. And I am forever grateful for, you know, you talk about all the things that we have contributed. I would dare say that we have taken more away from my experiences here than I ever could have contributed in a million years. And it continues to be that way for me. And I recall vividly a question that Rodney asked me when I made a presentation at commencement. And he asked me, he said, "What is your fondest memory of Bowling Green?" And without thinking for a second, and I go back to speaking to my father as well, we toured, I don't know how many campuses, maybe 10 or 12. And we came to Bowling Green, we went through administration interviews, we met with students, we met with faculty, we toured the buildings, and we both finished, and I can remember standing in front of University Hall and sort of looking at those buildings and books, and we both looked at each other and said, "This is the place." We both knew. So, you know, it continues to be the place, and I think where it has launched all of us in many different ways, in many different directions. But foundationally, what Bowling Green provided us and is providing today is values and ethics and a place to belong and a place to be. You know, I look at my career and, you know, the journey that I took and the limits that I was allowed to push here, that I've been allowed to push throughout my career. There is a person in my life who has allowed that to happen, and it's Doug. It's not been easy, but he's been a treasure and brought, you know, we've been married for 41 years, and you know, I've traveled a great deal and we've been separated a great deal. We came to each other, you know, in second marriages, and he came with an amazing family for which I am blessed, and I'm thankful for them as well. So I guess in conclusion, you know, whoever said you can't come home again lied, because we're all here. So thank you.
Jan, we're so glad that you chose to come home. You are an inspiration. We are delighted to welcome you as a member of the Bowling Green State University Academy of Distinguished Alumni. We celebrate the significant accomplishments and selfless commitments these outstanding alumni have made to their chosen professions and communities. It has been a privilege to share their remarkable stories this evening. Once again, Leon, Jan, Susan, congratulations on your induction into the 2021 Academy of Distinguished Alumni. Thank you also to all of our honorees for being with us this evening. We are proud and appreciate your accomplishments exemplifying what it means to be a distinguished alumni of Bowling Green State University. Finally, we thank each of you for the work that you do in support of our students and Bowling Green State University. When Falcons come together, they change lives. We look forward to seeing you throughout the many events this homecoming weekend. Thank you. Please stay around, enjoy your company, congratulate our honorees, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you very much.